Alright guys, so this is the overlay that basically we used for the Kings of the Old World tournament. It's very simple to use. There's obviously there's a bit of a learning curve to get over it. It looks like a lot of options at the start, like opening it up, and you're like, "Whoa, I don't really want to learn all this." But it's super simple. I'm going to go over it in a couple of minutes. We're going to start off going from left to right on the tabs, explaining what every little option does, so you can customize it to your own stream. And then after that, I'm going to show you how we did it for Kings of the Old World and how to implement it for into Streamlabs or OBS or whatever. So there's going to be basically three parts to this: what every option does, what are the critical options that I personally think you can use to do a stream, and also how to implement it into Streamlabs. So I'd obviously skip to that part in the video as to what you need to know. So I'm going to start off talking about the left hand side here. So you used to be able to click on that and change it there, but basically at the top here it's going to talk about like what the type of layout is going to be. So this one's going to be Kings of the Old World. I've got it set on, so that means it's going to have like of all the the timer, the schedule, like all the basically the assets are going to be in that sort of layout. So they're going to be blue. They're going to have a gold outline. But if we move it to, for example, Moss, they're going to have a different outline. They're going to have like a textured sort of like parchment outline, and you can obviously change that across to all the different styles. So I'm going to just keep it at Kings of the Old World for now. So that's what that does. Basically changes the design of the background when you launch the app up. Now you can also click this option, which plays the backgrounds in a loop. So this means that it'll cycle between the different arts. So if you do that, it's going to start with this one, and then say 30 seconds later, it's going to go to this one. 30 seconds later, it'll go to this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, etc. That's what it means. So this one here, play Age of Empires soundtracks, is when you click launch overlay. This is when everything comes into effect, by the way. Play Age of Empires soundtracks is going to automatically start with the list of soundtracks. So it'll go from a bunch of soundtracks from Age of Empires 1, Age of Empires 2, Age of Empires 3, Age of Empires 4, in that order. And then a fifth soundtrack, which is a special caster's soundtrack that you can access. I'll just quickly launch it so you can see what that's like. So you get that by, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is the special caster's soundtrack. So this has been designed for 13 minutes. So when you click this button here, the countdown on the right-hand side is going to go to 13 minutes, and the whole overlay is going to play the Age of Empires, some hype music basically. So if I click this, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but it's basically playing some eerie sort of music, getting into the mood, and the countdown started. So I'll pause that. Now, what you can also do is another special cool thing that Vlad's added for any starting overlay is you go Alt-K, and it'll do the same thing, but it'll play all of these backgrounds in the loop as well. So it basically sets it up. So all you have to do is Alt-K, and it does the whole intro for you. So I just escaped out of there, and then we're back over here. Animated backgrounds changes it from a... it changes it from still image to a moving image. So if you saw all the waving moss in the background and the particles flying everywhere, that's what it changes it to. Pretty self-explanatory. Twitch panel, you got to click on that before you can start typing it in. So if it's unclicked, you can't type anything in. But basically, click on your Twitch panel and then uncheck it. Well, I uncheck it for the intro, but what you can see here is when we go to the launch overlay again. And now I've got a macro. I'll show you how to do this later. But you do that, and the Twitch panel comes up over here. So it'll show you the number of followers, the number of live viewers, and how long you've been streaming for. And if you click on this button here, you can also type in the caster's name, which is pretty cool. So I'll just change that back and escape out of here. Countdown timer. This is the position if you want it. Where is it around the screen? As you can see, as you hover over it, it tells you what position that is. Enable countdown timers. That's pretty much it. Where do you want it on the screen? You saw that before. Pretty self-explanatory. The schedule. You guys didn't see the schedule before, so I'll just launch it to show you what it's like. It's this, and you can type in here, and you can start typing whatever you want, and you can bring that out to the front or wherever you want the schedule to be. I kind of like it over there. I don't really use it, but you can use it there if you want, as to where you want it to go. But that's pretty cool. So I'll exit out of that. And obviously this is like your, custom, it says right there, perfect. Brand logo. So this is just adding logos that you can move around on the screen. So let's just go, let's say Age of Empires 3. Let's say the event is Time to Treaty. We'll go launch overlay. Oh, yeah, perfect. So now it'll have all these icons that you can like move wherever you want. So I might have that up here. I might have this here, and you can make it bigger or smaller, depending on what you want it on the screen. That's basically it. Yeah, so definitely fun to play around with. You can add all those elements to your stream as well. But obviously I have it on none because I think it gets a bit cluttered. It's like the style of the overlay. So Kings of the Old World is the purple one. So if I go launch overlay like that, purple. Blue, I'm so stupid, and then the other one is AOE3D. Purple is probably, I've kind of messed that up on the Kings of the Old World stream. It should have been on this one, not D. And that's why it didn't look so professional. Okay, the layout here, this is to match, when you're in game, you have that option to, I won't start my game up now because it'll just be too much of a time waster. But basically, if you go to your settings, if you go to the UI settings, you can scale the in-game UI. So this is the, the settings, the top right and the bottom game panel, the HUD, the HUD layout. You can scale it to whatever you want it to be. I have it on 80% for casting, but 100% on playing. That's just my preference, and it matches up this here so that this goes over the replay box. That's what that's for, and this matches up on the left hand side as well. But yeah, the important thing is to match it with the HUD layout so that this matches up with the so it gets rid of the timer. Language, it's a language. Okay, map pool settings. Now this is where these two kind of come into importance. Before you start anything, always click refresh, because you don't know what's gonna, you can't remember what you had on the previous map when you previously loaded the game, and it always saves your preferences for the next time you load up. So that's good. This is obviously where the map pool is going to generate, and this is the number of maps selected. So if I go to, so basically the next step you want to do is select the maps that the competition is playing in. So I might go, this will come up with 8, no, 10, perfect. So I've already got 9 selected, but I mean 10, 11, 12, and it adds it up in order. Basically click it to undo. This is the selected maps I have. This will refresh them so it all goes back to 0, reset the map pool. You can type in if I want to go, I don't know, Atlas. Yep, it comes up like that. Pretty self-explanatory. If I go launch overlay, that's what comes up over here, this little thing. So this will cycle through all the maps so people can see what maps are being played. Alright, so that's basically that. Player settings, type in the team's name. So I might go Revnak versus Ezad. And you can then select the player's picture if they have one. Ravnak always goes Ramsey, and if we go to Ezad somewhere up there, you got some players' pictures, but you can also select it to any of these. Honestly, whatever you want. Any character in the game, which is pretty cool. You can also select it to 2v2, which obviously doubles the set size, and there's a whole nother set of icons, which is really, really cool. So if I wanted that, I might change the map pool to something a bit smaller. Let's say it's a best of 3. Go to the player settings, it becomes a best of 3, right? Yep, that's pretty much it. Enable score input panel, that's the thing on the top right hand side where you have the player score, and it covers up the timer. This one here is the thing at the bottom of the map. The bottom of the screen, where it's the massive, the player's icons, it looks like this basically. So don't get those two confused. A lot of casters get that confused. So if I launch the overlay, we can see this over here. Now, to type in you don't need to type in scores over here. You can retype in players, but I suggest not. I suggest do that at the start, because that way when you switch over, it'll match it up here, which is perfect. So if I go to Revnak here, and if I click on this, we can also set this up in Streamlabs so that the viewers don't see your mouse and don't see you selecting this. It just appears by itself, which is really cool. So Civ Picker, let's just say he's going Haudenosaunee and Russia versus Malta and Spain. And to the left hand, let's just say Revnak's team 1, so we right click that, which brings it to 1. and these are team lost, so we double click for the loss. So it just cycles it through. So basically, win, loss, back to the start, win, loss, back to the start, and it updates the score, as you can see that. So that's pretty cool. So I will get out of that. Oops. And you can always reset that by just going pop, and it resets everything. You can also go 3v3 as well, which is really cool. Yeah, not gonna lie, I love that because it's 3v3. So we'll go back to the 1v1s. Okay, so that's basically it. That's how you do the thing. That's how you use this overlay. So that's all. That's what every little thing does. If you get into any troubles, you got your tips, you got your hotkeys. Oh yeah, okay. So these are important. Use your keyboard, use your mouse. Make a key input or a mouse input as these hotkeys, because the way I've got it set up is that you do control. What is it? I go control, like, I've got a list as well here. This isn't it, but it's like 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or something like that. And so when I go to the launch overlay, so these all correspond with these settings. So when I go to launch overlay, I go here, I click this button on my mouse, and it changes everything over. Oops, that shouldn't be here. I don't know what the fuck that is. Hold on, let me reset that. Oops, God. Okay, so now I've fucked it up because I need to reset all these through animated background, Twitch panel. Count that timer. Sorry, folks, give me a second. Okay, there we go. So if I launch overlay, it'll come up with this, right? So I've got these macros to get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, change the background to a green screen, and add the player input in the Twitch panel. So I do that, it switches it over, which is nice and green. So this is what we want. So let's just say we're in the game, we do this, and we want to get back out to the post-game or pre-game, we do this again. Back into the next game, back into the post-game, what's is he, blah, 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 etc. That's how it works. Brilliant, perfect. Now, we want to then do the same for, I gotta open up Twitch, so give me 1 second, folks. Just exit out of this real quick. I hope you guys can still see this. Is this still recording? Good, it is. 12 minutes. Whew, sorry about that. Alright, so this is the ESOC thingy. Let's go to here. Oh, I did not notice that. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna have to tell Noel about that. Nice. Okay. Anyway. Okay then. Whatever. Why wouldn't you just donate that on stream? I don't understand. Okay. Basically, I have it set up, so we'll launch this again. I have this set up so that if we go to the pre-match, it'll have, don't ignore the browser sources, ignore the alert box. The important thing is the stream overlay. So what in the pre-match, all it's going to capture, I'll literally do this for you as if we're doing it for real. So we have this launched up, right? It captures this, all sweet to go. Then what we do, by the way, we're in the stage where we're doing, I showed you this is the last stage of the video, by the way. You need these, the hype video is just the hype video, right? But these are the important ones, these three here. So you have the pre-match, which is what you're going to do before every match starts. You're going to have the transition period, which you cycle through for every single, which you're going to cycle through between live cast and pre-match. So you're never going to go from pre-match to live cast and vice versa. You're going to go pre-match, transition, live cast, or live cast, transition, pre-match. I'll explain why. Pre-match, we've got all this set up. Cool beans. We're ready to start the thing. We've got civs selected, and we're ready to get in. Right? I then go to here. I go transition period. I send that over. So we've got a little like thingy here that like blocks it out. And then I do this macro, it brings it over to the green screen, and like that way they don't see the green screen, right? Because it wasn't on pre-match. I go live cast. I don't know. Pretend Age of Empire. I'll just get it. No. Pretend Age of Empires is there, and it matches up with everything. We just launched into the game. Let's go. It transitions it over back to that. Now, game's done. Okay, we've got our scores all entered in. Let's just say EZ won that one. Oopsie, sorry. Didn't click on it. Why isn't it clicking? I think it's frozen. No, it's not frozen. Why is it doing this? Okay, well that was weird. That's never happened before. That's clearly a bug. I'll tell... Okay, yeah, it's definitely bugged out. Alright, so I'll tell that about that. But normally you'd go in there and click it out and click it out. Sorry, I know this is like the video, but you know, that's the first time there's ever been a bug in this overlay, so at least that I've picked up on. So sorry about that. But yeah, you'd change it in there, and then you'd go back to the pre-match. Yeah, you'd go back to the pre-match, which is pretty cool. I'll get this. There we go. Yeah, I'll see if it works this time. Quick debugging skills. I'm gonna have to get that fixed. That should come up there all the time. Okay, this is annoying. This should definitely be working. I wonder if I go... Okay, I see what he's done. So it's made it, you can't edit this. It's not a bug. You just have to, it's probably, there was an update literally today, so I didn't read the notes on that. And it updates it based on this. So you don't need to type it in. It does it automatically. So that's even great. Alright, so basically back to where we were. Yeah, transition between those two. So the pre-match is set up, so it's just the stream overlay. Transition period is just a bunch of logos. It's got nothing to do with the app. The live cast is the exact same. It's got the game capture behind the overlay. Now the overlay has one filter on it, which is a color. You just go add filter, color key, add, and it sets it at green. That's it. That's all you have to do. Literally all you have to do. That's done. Cool. That's literally it. That is literally it. Yeah, so that's how you do it. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask me or Vlad. My name is Joshua667746, number 0466 on Discord. So if you want to ask me a question about how to do something in the overlay, I'd be more than happy to help you. It's once you get used to it, it's really simple. But I think the most important thing is getting that macro for your mouse. I'll just quickly tell you guys how to do that in case I didn't explain it well enough. It's based on all these. So like show hide, countdown, show hide. It's just a bunch of show hide elements, right? So if you like click this macro, it'll do 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 0 or something, right? And it switches it between this mode and this mode, which is perfect because obviously, like I said, you go pre-match, yay. We're getting into the first game, yay. Like we have to use that transition period, otherwise it you see the green, and then we go over the live cast. The most important thing you could, if you wanted to, is set that macro up so that it also is in Streamlabs, so you don't need that transition period. You could set it up so that pre-match, like clicking it, also switches over to live cast as well, if that kind of makes sense. The only issue with that is that it would have to be like to the millisecond, otherwise they'd see a green screen or Age of Empires screen when they're not supposed to. So yeah, that's going to be a bit difficult for you, but if you want to attempt that, go for it. But yes, so that's the gist of it. I hope you guys, I wish you guys the best of luck, and yes, enjoy.